Hello, my name is Mark Crossfield. Welcome to the 360 show with Golf Online. What a fantastic weekend of golf. The Waste Management Phoenix Open, as well as the European Tour's Amiga Dubai Desert Classic. Great winners, great stories. Let's get stuck in. So starting on the European Tour, the Amiga Dubai Desert Classic. Great to see Danny Willett finishing off, winning the event. Brilliant as well with Andy Sullivan chasing so hard, holding a putt on the 18th to tie for the lead. But Danny Willett staying strong. Fantastic win for Willett. Willett has been showing some fantastic form last year, along with Sullivan. You've got two fantastic English golfers who are pushing golf forwards in loads of ways, which is great to see. Young, exciting, fun on the course. Certainly Andy Sullivan's always smiling. And it's a great tournament, isn't it? The Amiga Dubai Desert Classic. It's an amazing venue. Get some good support to come the weekend as well, which is great to see on the European Tour because sometimes it struggles with that. But Danny Willett winning. Also, Danny Willett using quite an interesting driver, I think. Maybe copying someone's driver choice, maybe. So the Waste Management Phoenix Open, TPC Scottsdale. I was lucky enough to go on the Wednesday, actually, to watch that event. So I experienced the 16th, which we'll talk about in a second. I also watched Ricky up close, Matsuyama I watched up close as well, luckily. Just happened to be in front of us, so we watched him. And also lucky enough to watch Bubba hit some shots, which is amazing. These huge kind of 20-yard slice shots he was just hitting down the middle, which was impressive to watch. But what an amazing event. Ricky getting slightly unlucky, you could say, on 17 with a big bounce, hitting downslope and then going into the water over the back when he seemed to be very much in control. Matsuyama showing some amazing class, holding putts, being solid at all the right times. We're going to take a look at Matsuyama's swing as well in a second, so bear with for that. I'd love you to, let's say, some comments down below. Post some comments down below about the 16th. What's your take on the 16th? At the Waste Management Phoenix Open, surrounded completely by grandstands, lots of people getting very merry through the day. It's a real party atmosphere. I was lucky enough to go in 16, or even on the Wednesday, which is Pro-Am Day, and the atmosphere was fantastic. I personally really enjoyed it. It was very interesting watching the last day. Obviously, there's lots of pressure. The two players are really trying to kind of concentrate, so does that distract or does it add? Certainly as a spectator event, gets massive numbers. I think there was something like 15,000 people in the 16th on the Wednesday. Huge numbers for golf. Fantastic atmosphere around a game that can be seen as quite snobby. Post your comments. I'd love to hear what you think down below. I mean, the tournament ended in fantastic style with a playoff, didn't it? I mean, I almost wanted the playoff just to end at one point. It looked like they could be going all night. It was Super Bowl day as well, so I think they wanted, certainly Ricky probably wanted to finish so he could go and watch the Super Bowl. But amazing performance by both. And great to see Ricky showing some real passion. He was very upset afterwards. He had his whole family there. They kept reporting. So I think he really wanted that one and it hurt a little bit. He was certainly in the driving seat, but let's not take away from Matsuyama's fantastic kind of solid performance coming down that home stretch. Let's take a look at his swing and see if there's anything unique about it. Right, let's take a look at Matsuyama's golf swing. I was lucky enough to watch him hit a few shots. We're stood at a slight angle here, obviously. A few things to note with Matsuyama in his setup. Everything was very, very textbook grip, very kind of good whip for stance, very powerful. He was a powerful guy as well. Very kind of solid in his build. He looked strong. Very neutral grip, very neutral positions at the start. Slight little kick in of the right knee, which I always quite like at address. With the left leg less kicked in. Hard to see from this angle, but it was there. Now, the most noticeable thing with Matsuyama, he hits very textbook positions, not particularly putting any twists into the club head, say around the axis of the shaft backswing or downswing, which is going to be quite common from those kind of very neutral positions. He has this little almost pause at the top of the backswing. It's quite amazing, actually. I'm just going to run this one through again. So this is filmed at slightly high speeds. If I just take it back to the start here and let's run it through, you'll see a real kind of change of tempo there. I mean, he almost stops at the top. Now he hit a little baby cut, so he's obviously applying paths of kind of like 3 across, 2 across, face slightly open to that path, to just move it left to right in the air. He didn't look like he was going to miss many fairways. Very high ball flight and strong. It was out there. When he hit his shot, it was a high, kind of carried out ball flight. Say compared to Ricky, who I saw hitting some shots, he was fading them. I saw him hit one a little bit of draw, much lower kind of forward flight. Matsuyama was much more through the air, it appeared, not that I measured them. If we go back into his swinger actions, you get that distinct kind of stop or slowing down at the top, which is quite unique. He also spends a lot of time over the ball, not many waggles, just kind of freezes. And when it gets busy, certainly holes like the 16th, like we were talking about earlier, remember, post those comments, it gave people loads of time to get their cameras out, people shouting in the crowd, which you just felt like he could get distracted quite quickly or easily because he was freezing over the ball for so long. I found it actually slightly painful to watch how deliberate he was over the ball, but every player has their own systems and you're not going to argue with, I mean, I'm not going to say change it because it obviously works for him. Top of his backswing, he's turned kind of around his right hip, not particularly straight in his right leg so much you can see from this angle. Very extended left arm, so he's very straight and kind of high with his hands, which is all nice shapes to see. Coming down in his downswing, again we see that kind of squatting that you see from many good players into impact. He's quite solid with his left foot. Left foot's pretty flat on the floor. Right foot's really launching off. Hips kind of opening up, I would argue, probably 45 degrees. And a very kind of textbook position. You know, I would imagine he is very keen on hitting very standard positions, which he achieves. It was a really good looking swing. The noticeable thing, so there was nothing really to notice in his swing out there that was out of the ordinary, you know, compared to say Bubba, who stood very differently, shaping it very differently, lots of moving parts. It's how long he stood over the ball. It's also that slight pause at the top and how kind of deliberate he was with everything. Even walking onto the tee, he was kind of quite slow and deliberate. There was no real pace to him. And then see him hit this kind of bombing little fade, you know, it made me think, well, this guy's just going to hit fairways with distance. He's obviously a real talent. He's won before on the PGA Tour. This is his second win, I think it is. And I think he'd had a very good career on the Japanese Tour. This is a player, I would imagine, for a long time. It'll be interesting to see how those pauses change or develop through his swing, or if they just say. It's a very textbook looking swing, very kind of positions that lots of people would want to copy. I think they just might want to get on with it a little bit quicker. Great win from a great player. There we go, guys. 360 show with Golf Online. Let's hear those comments about the 16th down below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the 16th. Love it or hate it. Also, I got a sneak peek when I was in Phoenix up close. Didn't quite get my hands on some of the takeaway of Ricky's fantastic high top shoes. Now, I'm loving them. I love the fact that they upset people. I love the fact they get people talking about golf. I love the way that golfers can be so easily tricked by a little bit of fashion. Post your comments down below as well. I know it'll get heated down there. Let's see what you got to say about the fantastic high tops. Are you kicking them or not? Are you loving them? Let me know. Post those comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.